So what I have here, I actually have 10 cords, and I have 8 of them which are, I would say, 2.5 wingspans long, and I know it always varies depending on how long our arms are, but you might just end up with a slightly smaller or larger plant hanger. I will put the exact measurements in the description that I used as well for your reference. So that's 8 cords at 2.5 wingspans measurement, and then we have 2 cords that are 3 wingspans long, as in my arms. Okay, but again, you know, yours might vary a little bit, but that's not going to make a huge amount of difference. You can still make the same type of plant hanger. So we're going to start off now with the loop. So I've folded all of the cords in half, and I've just put them through a loop which is just hanging down here at the moment, but we can get rid of that later on. We won't need to keep that once we've got our loop in place. So I folded the cords, and then we've got half at the front, half at the back, and I've put the outer cords on the edges. These are the ones that we're going to use to kind of cover the loop that we'll have at the top of our plant hanger to make it easy to hang. So what we're going to do is a spiral knot just to start us off. Okay, so we're taking the outer one and we're making a kind of D shape to the side with it, so it's going over all those other cords. So it's going over, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cords in total, and then the longer cord that's on the left, so that's a 3 wingspans long cord, goes over that one, around the back of all those 8, and pull it through. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing again. So we'll take the one on the right, it goes over all those 8 cords. The one on the left goes over that, around the back, and then we pull it through. And then we'll do it again. We take the one on the right, goes over all those 8 cords. The one on the left goes over that one, around the back, and then we pull it through. So you can see that we're making this spiral knot now. And we just carry on like that. So we'll do another one, same knot again. And we'll do that again. There we go, and we can see it's starting to twist round. And we actually carry on with that until we've got enough of a spiral to form a loop, which you will see in just a moment. Okay, so you'll see that we've now got enough of these spiral knots to form a loop for the top of the plant hanger. So what I'm going to do now is to hold that loop together with a wrap knot. So one of the most useful knots in macrame. So what I will do is to take a cord, this one here, and I'll hold the knot together like that, and I'll go to the base of the knot, and I'm leaving some of the cord loose up the top there. And then what I will do, I'll show you, I will make a loop like that underneath. So we've got the loose part at the top, and then we've got the loop underneath. And so what we then do, just tuck that out of the way for a minute, so I'll hold it up for you to see properly. Okay, so what we do is we then tie around, so we're looping it around, so it's going over that loop and the bit at the top that we've got loose. Okay, and we go round again, and we go round again, holding it all together, and round again, maybe 6, 7 or 8 times. So 4, 5, 6.
No.
Okay, and then we pass that through the loop, and then what we do, still holding it tight again, we take our loose piece. Where's it gone? See, it got tucked into the wrap, which it wasn't really supposed to do, but it's fine now. So we've got the long end through that loop, the loose piece at the top, and then we pull that loose piece at the top until the knot is hidden there. So the knot that we formed with our loop and the long loose piece going through the loop is now hidden because we pulled this shorter loose piece at the top. And then we pull them both, so you pull both ends, both loose ends, just to get it nice and tight. Okay, so that's our wrap knot. And what I'll then do is to just snip that there with the scissors, and then underneath with the scissors like that. And a bit later, what I will then do, as I always do with my plant hangers, is to add a little bit of glue at each end and use something like a chopstick maybe to just push those ends in properly and secure it. Right, in fact, I've just put some glue in that top one there and used the end of a paintbrush to stick that down inside so that it's hidden. And I'm just going to do the same with this one here. So a little blob of glue. Okay, and then I've got my paintbrush here. And then I'm just going to push those ends in so that they're nice and hidden, and also it has that extra security with the glue. There we go. So what we're going to do next is to divide our cords into 4 groups of 5. Okay, so I've now divided the cords into groups of 5. I've actually got them wrapped around a chandelier light, but you could also use things like, for example, one of those clothes drying racks. I often use that, or I just make knots or tie tape around the different groups. So we've got our 4 groups of 5 cords now, and what we're going to do is a slight variation on the square knots, which just makes a nice sort of chunky effect. And again, this was accidental when I first did it because I had too many cords for my plant hanger and wasn't sure what to do with them. So I thought, well, I'll just make a square knot but with some extra cords. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 cords to the side. We've got our 2 cords in the middle and then 1 cord on the left. And so we make our square knot as usual, starting with the 2 cords on the right, going over the middle 2, the one on the left goes over them, around the back, and then pull it through. And by the way, if you haven't done the square knot before, then it's a good idea to check out my video in the description below on the square knot. You might want to do that before starting this part of the plant hanger. Likewise with the spiral knot, I also have a video on that. Okay, then these two cords are now on the left, and so you're going from the left, so you loop that over the middle two, the one on the right goes over that, around the back of the middle two, and then you will be pulling it through. Okay, and what you'll see here is you're getting this nice sort of wavy shape, or a chunkier version of the usual square knot. Okay, then you take the two on the right again, over the middle two, the one on the left goes over those, around the back, and then pull it through like that. Okay, and then you pull it, not too tight though, because it's nice to be able to see the effect that you get with the two cords on the side as opposed to just the usual one. So we're going to do that again. So this time taking the two which are now on the left, putting them over the middle two, the one on the right goes over those, around the back, and then pull it through like that. Okay, there we go. And so we're going to continue for I would say maybe about 8 square knots, something like that, and we will do the same on all sides. Okay, so you can now see that we've made these square knots, or this variation on the square knot, with all of our groups of 5 cords. And I'll just point out to you, because we'll come back to this in a later tutorial, that on the reverse side there's also a nice pattern there. So in another tutorial we'll talk about making this pattern on the front side. Okay, I think they are both equally attractive. What I like to do, and it also helps if you've got some cords that are getting a bit short, is to now put the cords through a bead. So we've got this little wooden bead here with, or large wooden bead with quite a large hole there as well. And there's a little tip for getting the cords more easily through the holes, and that's to cover them in a bit of tape at the ends there. So I'm going to see, hopefully I can get all 5 of the cords through the hole. Okay, got one more there. Right, let's have a go and see if we can get all 5 through. So that's 2 of them. And there we have another 2 or 3 rather. Okay, and you'll see that then gently we can thread all of these beads through the hole. Okay, so now we've got the bead on, what you can then do is find your longer cords and then use them to go on the outside, and the 2 shortest ones can go in the centre, which will help save the cord that's left. Okay, so and then we can carry on making a few more of those square knots. So we've got our 2 from the right going over the 2 central ones, our 1 from the left, over, around the back, and then we will pull it through. And then repeat it again on the other side to complete the square knot. So the 2 from the left over the middle two, the one on the right, over those, around the back and pull it through. And then we'll do another one, two from the right, from the left, over that, around the back and pull it through. Okay, and I think what I will do there is add another little bead. So I'll repeat the process and add another bead. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so that's another bead added, and feel free to vary how many beads you add, how many square knots you leave between them. So I'm just going to carry on here and add maybe 1.5 or 2 more square knots. So again, following the same process. Okay, and I'm going to leave it like that. And what I'll do now is I'll repeat the process for the 4 other groups of cords. Okay, so you can see that we've now got the square knots going through all 4 of our groups of 5 cords here, and we've attached those beads. So the next stage is going to be working it around our pot. So I'll be back just in a moment and we'll do that.